Hello, I'm Emmeline.
And I'm Kindy. Did I cut out again?
You said it funnier.
I think you should keep this in. So how was your week?
It was great. One thing I've really liked about living here is I love the rain. And it's been raining a lot. And the nice thing about it raining here is it doesn't get cold like back west in the desert. When it rains there, the temperature drops a lot. But here, because of the humidity and the warmth, it stays warm. So when it's raining, you can go out and be in the rain. And I took the dogs to go out and we just, they watched me as I played in the puddles and enjoyed the rain. They're like, we have a crazy owner. I don't know. But I love the rain. I love the thunder. I love the lightning. I love the green that comes from it. It's one of my favorite things. So it's been a fabulous week. How was your week?
That's awesome. It's good. I did want to comment on the whole warm rain. I actually miss that because that's very few and far between. When it rains in Utah, it's just cold. So those are lovely storms when it's warm.
So tell us about Anders' birthday party because I wanted to know how that went.
So it was good. We had his birthday party on Saturday, and we did it at a pool party. So this was my first birthday hosting. I had put it off. He's 5 years old, so I put it off as long as possible. And I thought he's becoming too aware of the fact that other kids are having parties, and he has yet to have one. So we did it this year, begrudgingly. So I decided to make it as simple as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a pool in my town that we rented a pavilion place for 2 hours where everybody could sit out of the sun. And I asked him who he wanted to invite. And so he told me, and I let him know ahead of time. And it was fun. And I didn't know I was doing half the time, but I'm like, you know what, we'll just guess. And we did the cake first because I wanted them to play as much as possible and not let that kind of thing get in the way. So we did cake and then had them go swim, and then did presents in the middle, towards the end of renting the thing. And then we moved everybody's stuff and kind of stayed longer because it wasn't you can only stay for 2 hours. It was, I have this thing, but you can come early or you can stay longer, to swim and play. And so everybody who could stayed longer, but it worked out. Those that could come came. And I think next time if we do it, if we can pay for everybody, or do it at home if we can't, so that it's not as awkward. We invited the kid and their family. I didn't want to limit it to just the kid and then, a responsible party or whatever, because we're going to the pool. I don't want to be in charge of all these kids. That's terrifying. I did what was suggested in a podcast I listened to. Another shout out to Bad at Magic, because they were talking about birthday ethics, and they were saying how they want to be told what's expected. So I was like, you this kid is invited along with the family. This is the cost, so they didn't have to guess if they had to pay or if we were paying. I was like, you can look up the cost here. And I was like, in case of bad weather, we're going to have it at this house, and you can either leave the kid or you can stay there. So I tried to cover all the bases. And so anyway, it was a long version of telling everyone that Anders' party was a success, apparently. I mean, people told me they're like, they had fun. They loved being there. I had a couple parents thank us for inviting them. He's at a new daycare, so he met a couple new kids, and so we invited both of them. It seems like a party is the only way for you to track these kids down if you have children in daycare, because it's kind of awkward to be like, hey, do you want to have a play date? I don't know. I guess you could. Our kids like each other. Should we get together so they can play? So the other daycare where he was at, it was a party he got invited to. And then because the three kids just really hit it off. And so us parents texted each other and said, hey, our kids like each other. Should we do a play date? And I was like, sure, that's fine.
Well,
so
fun.
It was good. He got some fun presents and we got a cake from Walmart. I let him pick it out and then I did the rest, like the chocolate and the filling. I chose wrong in the filling. I probably should have just had a solid piece of cake because it started to melt as the day went on.
Oh no.
It just couldn't handle the structure of the cake was kind of falling apart. So but it was a cute cake. I didn't even take a picture of it. I totally forgot. But there are videos and pictures that other parents took for me. So
good.
That way I do have some things. Thank goodness for other moms.
Yes. Yes. I feel that way a lot because I am not a good picture taker. And like my sisters or, friends will send, when we were hanging out, here's some pictures I got of your kids. And I'm like, thank you. I don't take pictures. I like go through phases where I'll take them really good for like a week and then not for like 5 months. So
that's okay. You'll have some good quality ones for that week and then yeah. Yeah, I'm the same way. We went to the zoo and I think the only one we got was as we were leaving. That was bad. I should have done one before we got into went everywhere because by the time we were leaving, we were all tired. Anders was cranky and mad because he wanted to do something. I can't remember what it was. And it was so stupid.
So it was that everybody was grouchy picture?
No, I take it back. Yeah. Yep. I actually took pictures of Anders on a statue of like a lioness with her little cub on top of it. So
okay.
I did, and him getting a drink of water out of the lion's mouth. But Emmeline was in her stroller, so I didn't really do. Actually, I take it back. I did take a picture of her and Matt. So I took some pictures, but
good.
Yeah, but I'm the same way.
I have the picture of Lorenzo taking a drink out of that lion's mouth. We should compare them side by side and see, because he was about Anders' age when we went to the zoo.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. All right. So, I've got our obscure holiday.
Yeah, you do.
I picked August 31st, Eat Outside Day, because I love being outdoors. I'm not outdoors as much as I should be. And as often as Anders asks to go to the park, I dread it because I want to ride around on my bike or go hiking. But I should just be happy to take him to the park. But I'm not because I'm gotten so used to being inside. And I'm taking a tangent on telling everyone to eat outside on August 31st.
No, it's good. We like to change it up every once in a while when it's like nice weather. We'll get our big picnic blanket and we'll pack a lunch in a basket and take it outside in the yard most of the time and just sit in the yard and eat just to change things up. And the boys think it's the coolest thing. They love it. I mean, I'm sure Lorenzo's tries to hide that he thinks it's the coolest thing now because now he's getting too old to think things his parents do are cool, but they love it.
Probably because it starts to cool down around most of the states, unless you're in the hotter portions of then it won't. It's an unofficial holiday and nobody knows where it originated from. But it started by others encouraging others to eat outside as an excuse for people to go outdoors and enjoy the fresh air and the time under the sun. It's also known as Eat Outdoors Day or National Eat Outside Day in the United States. So there you go. Yeah. So, like what Emmeline said, you can pack a lunch to enjoy it with family or friends in the park or grill outside in the yard. Did you know that picnics began as a meal break for hunters while hunting?
Ooh. That makes sense because they're outside and they gotta eat. So
Yeah,
I
apparently
wonder why they named it picnic. Maybe there was
right. Seems like it'd
maybe
be
their friend
hunter
named
lunch.
maybe their friend was named Nick and he was really good at finding a spot to
picking the
eat.
spot?
And so they're like, "Where should we eat?" And somebody's like, "Pick Nick. He'll know what to do."
Yep, that's how it happened. Now you all know. So August 31st, go eat outside.
Deal.
Emmeline has our word of the week.
I do. I pick it because it sounds cool. All right. The word is salubrious. It is an adjective.
Okay. I'm going to guess it is the lucidity of the American quail. I don't think that is it either.
What's lucidity mean?
I don't know. I'm making it up because I have no idea. It's being elusive. Idiousness.
Oh, elusiveness.
No, elusive. It's a word I just made up.
Oh.
But you're right. You're right. That's the word I was thinking of, not the one I said. Elusive. See how good at this I am? I can't even say the words right.
All right. So salubrious, adjective, means favorable to or promoting health. It's healthful. So it usually like have a salubrious workout session. You can tell that one to Matt next time he goes to the gym. Say, "Hey, honey, have a salubrious workout."
He'll be like, "What?"
Instead of what you normally say. And he's like, "That's a weird thing to say." Like, what do you normally say? Like, have fun?
It's worse than, have fun. Which I have stopped because I realized after the 20th time, why? Why would I say that to him? Why would he have fun? I mean, he likes to work out, but he doesn't have fun doing it.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe somebody does, but that's awesome. Oh, that's fun. Okay, so I've got the good news. So this is a story about Emily who found hope during a life-altering change. So this is 2019. There's a little girl in Maryland. She turned to books when she felt lonely. And so I don't know if she had a hard time finding friends. But the article kind of just says that it was often that she felt lonely. So while she waited for a best friend to materialize, she read books. So she was a teenager when her father was diagnosed with stage 4 thyroid cancer. And so the next year with the pandemic in the background, so it was 2021, she was balancing school. So she was still in high school. She was balancing that while trying to help her father, and they were like best friends. So this was very earth-shattering to her. And she would help him tube feed her father, and she wanted to spend as much time with him as she could in case anything happened. And so during this hard time, she remembered how comforting books were. Here's a quote that she says, "I thought there's a child out there who's fighting the same or a similar battle as my dad. she says. Imagine being that young and having to go through that and not understanding it fully. I thought about how terrifying that would be. So she decided on July 11th, 2021, she had written a Facebook community post to ask neighbors and anyone who's willing to donate a book so that she could give these books out to children that were in the hospital. And she asked for books for children of all ages, so from infants to teenagers. And she said she got a huge response. And her brother, who was 21 at the time, would drive around town collecting these books. So over the course of the whole 2 years that she's been doing this, she has collected and donated about 15,000 books to local hospitals in the Washington, D.C. area, to include Children's National Hospital, Children's Inn at NIH, Holy Cross Hospital, and Inova L.J. Murphy Children's Hospital. And she goes on to talk about the Children's Inn at NIH and how it provides free housing to families around the U.S. and how she has received a lot of support from that community as well. So, and she's also donated to MedStar Georgetown University, where her father was treated. And she is currently on a gap year, working 2 jobs to save up money for college. So she's kind of put it on a hold, but she had called it Love and Buttercups because I think Buttercups was a favorite character of hers in a book. So I just really enjoyed that story of how even going through, because she started doing this while her father was going through therapy. And so I think for her, and her father has recovered, although he has a hard time talking. And so he actually emailed Today, which is who wrote the article, about how proud he is of her and the strength that she had during his his diagnosis and treatments and just watching her grow through this process. Wow. So
that's awesome.
So yeah.
What a sweetheart. Okay, so this week I found this article that I thought was interesting and kind of applied to what we're talking about today. So I thought Kindy and I could talk about it. It was a story about a little boy in Bolivia who found a black widow and thought that if he let it bite him, he could become Spider-Man. Which was really black widows are black with, the red on their tummy. So if they've seen the new Spider-Mans with Miles Morales, he isn't red and blue like the original Spider-Man. He's black with red. So maybe the little boy thought that he'd become the next Miles Morales Spider-Man by letting this black with red spider bite him, which has actually happened in years past as well. Little boys who want to become Spider-Man have let spiders bite them so that they can become Spider-Man. And so an 8-year-old little boy in Bolivia.
And it took them hours to find out it was a black widow spider. And so once they found out, then they were able to treat him.
Yeah, give him the anti-venom. So there is anti-venom for black widow spider bites. They're very rarely fatal, unlike myths that you're told that if you get bit by a black widow spider, you're going to die. That doesn't happen very often.
That's good to know.
Yeah, just if you're very old or have a compromised immune system or extremely like little babies. It's not good for them either. But black widows only bite when they feel threatened. They don't just go around biting people. Most spider venoms have an anti-venom. So if you go to the hospital, contact poison control, whatever you need to do, be safe. and talk to your kids that Spider-Man's a comic book character.
Yeah, help them to understand there is a difference between reality and make-believe / entertainment, and there's no such thing as a spider bite that's going to turn you into Spider-Man, or a radioactive spider that's going to turn you into Spider-Man. Does not exist.
Okay, Kindy, so you have our quote for the movie.
I do. I know you can be underwhelmed and you can be overwhelmed, but can you ever just be like whelmed?
I think you can in Europe.
Right? I know. I almost said it. I'm so glad you did.
Yeah, it needed to be in there.
It did. All right, now we're going to talk about Venom. So spoilers, if you haven't seen it and don't want us to spoil anything, you can shut it off, or if you don't care, you can keep listening. Emmeline, I'm sure you have a
I
summary.
do. So we'll give a summary.
Yes! I'm glad. 'Cause I don't.
We'll give a summary. We'll tell you what we liked and didn't like about it. Well, we're actually, our top 3 this week is top 3 things that gross us out. So we're going to tell you what those are for us. And then we'll give it our rating out of 5 stars. And then we'll tell you if it's mom approved. And we got a tally board. So, all right, here's our summary. Journalist Eddie Brock tries to expose the dark side of Carlton Drake's Life Foundation when a spaceship the Foundation sent into space returns home with a dead crew. Eddie loses his job and fiancé because he tries to expose Carlton Drake. While investigating one of Drake's experiments later, Eddie's body merges with an alien symbiote, Venom, leaving him with superhuman strength and an unquenchable appetite. Life Foundation is experimenting on other symbiotes that they got from space. One bonds with Drake. The symbiotes want to invade Earth, but Venom takes a liking to Earth and decides to protect it.
All right, Emmeline, what's something you liked about it?
Throughout the movie, I really liked how they animated Venom. It was fabulous.
Yeah, that was good.
He was a fun character to see. He's creepy, just like he is in the comic books, and intense, which he also is in the comics. And they did a good job translating that into a movie. What's something you liked about it?
I love the restaurant scene where Eddie is like, Venom is talking more to him, and they're still trying to figure out how to be paired together. And so Eddie, in like this panic, or I can't remember what, he finds his ex-girlfriend. They're at a restaurant, and he goes there, and he's just crazy the whole time. He's trying to find food, and everything he grabs is dead and cooked. And so Venom doesn't like that. Venom likes fresh living things. And so Venom wants to eat people, and Eddie's trying to not allow him to eat people because he's seen it once before, I think, right? At this point, he's already eaten somebody's head.
Yeah. It was one of the bad guys came to get him.
That's right. And so he just, the way Eddie acts, the way that, what's the actor's name?
Tom Hardy.
Yeah, Tom Hardy. He's just really good at portraying this crazy person. And he's like, when he I don't know, other people come up to him, he's like, no. And he jumps in the lobster and starts, because he's so hot. And so he gets in the lobster tank and he feels good. And then he's like talking to Annie, and he's like, I think I'm going crazy. And then Venom pops up and says something. Just like the whole scene is just so fun because you really see how Venom is affecting Eddie.
Yep. You do. You see it.
I love that.
And because he's a symbiote and it's kind of like taking over his body, he's having all these awful reactions to it. Like he's overheated and he's puking, because Venom doesn't like the way normal food tastes. And he's talking to Venom, but it looks like he's this crazy guy that ran into this nice restaurant and is freaking out. And the greatest thing is Annie's boyfriend, was it Dan? He's just so like,
He's so sweet about the whole
he
thing.
is. He's just a big sweetheart. He's like, oh yeah, he's my patient. Don't hurt him. I'll take him to the hospital. You know, when the restaurant wants to like grab him and throw him out on his rear end, and he like takes care of him, and the whole time, Eddie's
Like
trying to get
concerned
his
for him.
girlfriend back.
Yeah. What other part did you like?
I did enjoy the characters that play the lab technicians that work for Carlton Drake, because you see the emotion on their face where they're like, oh yeah, we want to discover new things because we're helping progress the knowledge base of the world to help fight all these diseases. They're in there to do good things, right? And then as you see them, as they realize who Carlton Drake really is, and they're like, holy cow, we are working for the wrong dude here.
Yes. And he like threatens them. I did not like that.
You go ahead.
So a part I liked was when Eddie's at a bar drinking, because this is after he's lost his job, his life is ruined. So you see him at a bar and he's about to head home, but before he does, he says, I'm gonna go home, chase myself around to play hard to get. That was hilarious. You kind of know where he's going with it, but just imagining him running around his house.
I really liked how Tom Hardy did Venom's voice. He's a really good like voice actor.
Oh, that was his voice?
Yeah.
I thought it was somebody else
Nope.
that did Venom's voice.
Yeah, it was his voice.
Oh my gosh, that's cool. I liked it too, because it's very menacing.
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to tell my other one that I thought was hilarious. So he's making calls trying to find a job. he's talking to somebody and he's like, I could have a pseudonym. I could be a woman. Have you seen Tootsie?
I had no idea what that was referencing.
So Tootsie is about Dustin Hoffman's character. He can't get an acting job anywhere at all. And so I can't remember who challenges him to do it, but he goes to try out as a woman and they love him, but nobody knows that it's him. And so and it's a movie about him being in a medical soap opera.
Okay.
And so it's actually really cute. Maybe that should be one of the movies we put on our list, Tootsie. Okay. And then maybe we'll have to watch Venom again so you can get that reference. But it's cute. So that's what he's referring to, is Tootsie, where Dustin Hoffman dresses as a woman so that he can be an actress in that scenario. So that's what he was getting at. He's like, I'll be a woman so that I can have this job. Mm-hmm. So I thought that part was hilarious.
So there is a part where he goes back to his old job that he got fired from to give his old boss the proof that Carlton Drake is a jerk, is a bad guy. Mm-hmm. And they end up getting into the office building by breaking through the windows, running up the side of the building and breaking through the windows. And he leaves him a note, his old boss. He's like, here's the evidence, butthead. Except he doesn't say butthead. But yeah, I thought that was really, really funny. Because sometimes you get in those situations where you're like, this is an important thing and you're not listening to me. And so...
yeah, I'm going to be rude to get this across because I'm mad now.
So it kind of comes off in how you tell them off that you were right all along.
That's awesome. My favorite part is after that scene, Venom tells Eddie to jump. And then the next scene, you see Eddie pushing the elevator
Button
to go down. Yeah, because he doesn't want to go down outside, so they're going down in the elevator. and Venom calls him a sissy.
That fight scene where he's like, they're like, put your hands up, get down on the ground. And he's like, you don't want to do that. And they're like, masks, everybody put on masks. And then he takes that as, that's how he tells Venom. He's like, mask. And Venom, takes over and fights all the guys. So
yeah, that was pretty cool.
Venom goes to bite the head off of one of the SWAT team. And Eddie's like, we don't eat police officers.
Yeah. That's about it for my likes. I've got some. Well, the part that I thought was interesting, I do have another one though, of the first conversation that he really does have with Venom on that like little cement island that they swam to, or the other side of the river or what have you, where Venom is coming across as very threatening and like authoritative, and I'm better than you, and like reminding Eddie or telling him whatever that he's a loser and we're gonna take over this planet and everybody's gonna die. And then all of a sudden when crap hits the fan and Venom needs Eddie to help, Venom confesses that he's a loser from his planet.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm a loser too, or what have you. I thought that was interesting, where it's like he first comes across as, I just find it interesting when you're talking to somebody about something. For example, for me, when I tell people I'm in the military, it's almost like if you haven't experienced it, you feel like they think that you're on like this higher level. Like, not to sound arrogant, but I feel like that's kind of what comes across. And it's like, no, I was an idiot in the military. I'm not that great. Where it's like, you could go with that image that they have of you and just roll with it and be like, oh yeah, I was awesome and I did all these things and whatever and what have you, and then it's like, no, I'm just a normal person just like the next guy. And yeah, anyway. I don't know where I was going with that, but oh yeah, first impressions.
Yeah. And how some people can just say stuff and they're actually just like you.
Yep. You think like, oh man, you must be like so smart because you're like I've talked to like computer programmers, or I'm trying to think of something that's like really up there, but their common sense just isn't there. It's like, yeah, I might not be book smart. I might not be as smarter than you, but I understand that you don't rollerblade. That's a bad example. I was thinking like down an ice something, because then you'll just crash. But so I did like the concept of Venom and how they told it. I don't know what the comic version of the story is, but I really liked how it's like there's this alien life form that they can't survive our atmosphere, but they can't make, they're, I guess, not intelligent enough to make a spaceship that comes from their planet to ours. We had to go to theirs to discover them and then bring them back. So I thought that was interesting, where they're like more powerful than us, but unless they come together with another human being, and then when they are with that human being, it like also has to mesh, but they still want to take over our planet and eat us all, where it's like, you can't survive without us. So if you do kill us all, then you'll die too, because you can't leave.
Yeah.
And we'll all be dead. Anyway, I'll probably just keep the ones that they
mesh with. Yeah, symbiotes with.
Yeah.
The best. Well, I didn't
Play
say
that
my
out.
very
That'd be interesting.
My very favorite part is actually the song in the credits. The Eminem song at the end. I loved it.
The Venom one?
Well, yeah.
It's a good song.
So it, like the credits get going and I was like, I turned to Lorenzo because I watched it with Lorenzo and I was like, hey, this is Eminem. And he's like, who's Eminem? And I was like, no.
You've hit that age. I thought he'd be like, you want M&Ms?
No, he doesn't know who Eminem is.
Come on, kid, know your artist.
But I've always really liked Eminem. I don't like all of his songs, mind you, but the ones that I do like, I really like them because he has got skills, mad skills. And it was very evident in this Venom song. So I really liked that song at the end of the movie. That was my favorite part.
Sweet. That's awesome. It's a very good movie. So what did you not like about it?
So many lines, how they said them. I didn't believe that they believed what they were saying. Like, it was actors saying lines. It wasn't actors, like, being a character saying lines. They were just people saying lines. And I was like, I don't believe them. I don't believe that they believe they're in this situation or they're really angry. There was so much. And it really, when I made the tally board, I was like, I really wish I would have remembered that this was part of it, and would have recorded it, because there was so much whisper yelling. So much where they were like angry, and they would be like, I can't believe that you did that. And you're like, if that was a real person, they wouldn't be, unless they were like in a nice restaurant, which one time it does happen, where Annie whisper yells at Eddie. I'm like, that's a situation where you whisper yell. But every other one where they whisper yell, if you were a real person, you'd actually be yelling. Like, get out of my head! Not, get out of my head! I'm whisper yelling at you.
Yeah. I guess I didn't notice.
I appreciate actors when they get into character, you feel like that they're living that life outside the movie, that they aren't just acting for a movie. And this one, everybody, it felt like they were just acting in this movie, and then they were done. You know, I don't appreciate like the way that method acting makes people, but I appreciate when the actors, at least I feel like they're that person. That doesn't
do
make
it
sense.
so well that you don't realize they're an actor. That you're actually watching somebody live
happen.
This way.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
When you notice they're acting, it takes you out of the movie and it annoys you because you're like, you're not delivering this line very well. It's distracting. That is frustrating. Thankfully, I didn't notice any of that.
Well, if it wasn't that way for you, that's great. But that's the whole movie for me. I was just like,
that sucks. Oh, so one thing I didn't like was the ego of Drake. He plays a really good, I don't know, but I mean, that's kind of his character, but I did not like his character.
Yep.
I don't know. I feel like he could have been creepier. Like he could have developed that side of the bad guyness, but
instead of a guy acting like he was trying to be a bad guy, that's what it felt like.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I did catch it because I was like, I don't know. Yeah. What other thing did you not like about it?
The character chemistry was non-existent. Like, I did not ever at any point believe that Annie and Eddie were in love ever. Like at that beginning scene where she like chucks a pillow at him and ha ha ha, I'm hitting you with a pillow, and you're like, this is so awkward.
Yeah.
No.
It's like an underlying aggression that she's like annoyed with who he is.
Yes.
Like there's no true appreciation.
Like they didn't have chemistry at all. Like those two people weren't like, ooh, I feel like they're in love. Not ever. Not ever did I feel that. They exchanged pleasant smiles to each other. Because I know that they're both good actors, but they did not mesh well. together at all.
Yeah.
And where Venom's like, we like her. We're going to get back together with her. And I was like, no. No, find somebody new for him to act with in the next movie, because I cannot watch another movie with these two fake loving each other.
Well,
Can't do it.
And it was like super quick that Venom liked her. It's like, really? That, like, it wasn't...
She opened the door for
don't
you
know.
and told you to get into the back of the car, and you're like, oh yeah, hubba
Right?
hubba.
I like her. Like, what is it about that part that you... Yeah, it was very quick interaction that he's like, oh, I all of a sudden like this person, which can happen, but I'm sorry, this like creature wants to eat people, but not her. Like, yeah, that it was weird. I thought it was horrifying how the human got killed. Like, watching it again, I totally forgot how horrifying that came across. How did Lorenzo handle that scene?
So you mean like the Isaac body contorting death?
The
one?
contortion, the bulging of, and then like liquids coming out of places, and
I was watching it going,
I did not like that part.
and I didn't look at Lorenzo's face. I think he was like, ah. I didn't see his reaction because I was just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. What other part did you not like?
That's all I got.
I got one more. It was just the little girl. I didn't like the creepy symbiote girl. I was like, oh, that's just sad. That poor little girl. I did not like that.
I don't like when they put little girls in horror movies, or little boys. I'm like, please let those children be. Don't make them act like a creepy person in a movie.
They're already going to be scarred for life for being in a movie, and now you're just compounding that with
making them act creepy.
With a horror. Making them act creepy. Didn't like it.
Okay, Kindy, can you guess what my rating is gonna be?
Wait, we gotta talk about our top three.
Top three things that gross us out. Okay.
Although it probably makes more sense to do the stars of the movie, since the grossing things out. I don't know.
Maybe we should switch our order and do the stars before we do the top three, because that would make sense.
Okay. I want to guess your stars. I'm thinking it's a 1 or a 0.
It's a 1. 1 star.
It's a 1.
I couldn't.
Okay. Because you didn't shut it off.
I didn't shut it off, but I don't think for this podcast I'll ever shut it off, because I do need to watch it in order to report on it. But I think there will be movies where I wish I could have shut it off. I don't know if we'll ever watch one like that, but I am fine never watching this movie again. So my score is 1 star. Now for you, I want to guess yours. 3.5.
I think you're the only one that does the half. But I would have. Mine is a 3. Yep.
So you like this movie enough to watch it here and there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if Matt's like, hey, let's watch Venom, I'll be like, okay, sure. But I wouldn't seek it out.
Okay.
Yeah. Or you saying, I forgot what it was like. Or maybe I'll just have you rewatch the one scene where he mentions Tootsie when we watch Tootsie. If we ever do, I don't know. But So definitely a 3.
Okay. And then for Mom Approved, I think that I would say that you want your kid to be... There is an F word in it. There is other swearing. There's lots of
junior high.
Oh, yeah. There's lots of S words. And so I'd say 13 and up.
Yeah, I wish my children would stay as innocent as possible, so I would say 20. Which is unrealistic. So, I agree with Emmeline. It'd be 13.
It is violent, so
It's very violent.
that's where I'm almost like 15 and up, but at the same time, I'm like, there's other movies that I let him watch that are more violent than that. Like lots of war, but it's fantastical war, like, Lord of the Rings and stuff. So it's like, I guess, where do you draw your line? So if you're feeling more cautious, 15 and up or 20 and up, like Kindy said.
I would definitely with the 15 and up, especially depending on your child, because that scene with Isaac, him being the first victim, and I don't know why I think the reason why this second time I've seen it, the reason why the first victim's name is so remembered for me is because he goes off on this tangent and just how horrific it was. And like, I actually had to pay attention to everything. And I'm like, do you want to do the tally board? Wow, I can talk tonight. Or the 3 things that gross us out.
Tally board. Let's do tally board. All right. Times people ran away. And it wasn't like individual people running away. It was just scenes that people ran away.
7?
4. Venom Spotted.
4.
13. Not by other people. Venom in the scene.
Himself. Okay. Gotcha.
Alien Sludge. When it was just the sludge all by itself.
7.
It was 9.
Oh.
Okay. And then how many times do you see a lab coat?
35 times.
57.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot.
Yeah. Lots of lab coats. And then I did wounds healing.
5.
Good. It was 5. Because it was that one lady's leg in that first scenes. And then when Eddie Brock falls and his shoulder heals and his finger heals and then his 2 legs heal. Was the movie title said in the movie, Kindy?
Yeah. Yes. Like yes, 25 times. Probably more than that.
Yeah, so many times. Now we'll do our top 3 things that gross us out.
Yeah.
So, Kindy, do you want to go first?
Sure. I think there's a couple listeners out there who know a few. So it's not necessarily in a specific order. So my first one is anyone touching my elbows. Grosses me out. I don't know why. It's so gross. And then fingers in belly buttons.
Wait. I had no idea of this. You don't like it?
I didn't either. I don't like it. It's not like people touch my elbows all the time. So when
I come up behind you and I grab you by the arm, I accidentally like.
Yeah, that's right. You're touching other parts. If it's solely my elbows, just my elbows, it grosses me out. Just talking about it grosses me out. My cousin, I think it was my cousin that discovered this disgustedness and he got a kick out of it. So he told anybody he could. And so it wasn't until like my adulthood that I discovered this disgust. So I'm kind of not surprised that this is new to you.
That's crazy.
But it's so gross. Thankfully, I've gone this long that no one's discovered it, even myself, because I had no idea. So gross. And then fingers in belly buttons, like just innies, grosses me out. Ugh.
Any belly buttons gross you out?
No, like when you put your
fingers
in a belly button.
Belly buttons.
Yeah, fingers in belly buttons. So gross. And
do you clean yours out?
Well, yeah.
With your finger?
Mine isn't.
Do you gag the whole time you do
clean
that?
It with no. My belly button doesn't get that gross. But yeah, It's weird.
How
I
do you
don't know.
how do you clean it out?
Like seeing when other people put their fingers in their belly buttons, it's gross. It is so gross. I was helping Anders bathe, and I can't remember what I was doing, but I'm like, you got to get your belly button or something. I don't even know. And I stuck my finger in his belly. Ugh, I almost puked. I was like, oh, totally forgot about that disgusting thing that I don't like. So it's so gross. It's so gross. And
One
then,
of my favorite things to do, I got to tell you this, is like when you put your finger
it's gonna make me
flat over the top of your belly button.
Oh, and it makes
hole,
a noise?
and it makes that sound. It's one of my favorite sounds. And so I like to do it to Kyle's belly button.
But you're not putting your finger in his belly button.
I'm putting it over it.
Yeah.
And the like fatty pumpy part of my finger is going into the belly button.
Okay. No, can we? Okay. La.
That's so funny. Okay, sorry. All right, what's your last one?
It was fine, and then you just had to go into detail.
But I like that sound. It's a fun sound.
That's great. Okay, let's move on. I'm not telling you my top 3 just so we can keep talking about them.
Oh, sorry.
Maybe this was a bad idea.
Well, you can do me next.
Okay. And then centipedes. Ugh, I hate them.
Ugh.
They're so gross.
They are gross.
They're so gross. Yeah. They're freaking creepy. We got Emmeline a crab toy that like it moves around and it like goes side to side, and it like looks too close to a crab. So that thing, I have to like mentally prepare myself if that toy ever turns on or if I see it, because it's kind of reminds me of a centipede, and it's creepy. I bought her the wrong mobile toy because it grosses me out. But.
If it's surprise on when you go in there, you're like, oh.
Oh my gosh, I would probably kick it and scream and tell Matt to come get it. Thankfully, it's one of those things where you have to turn it off for it to stop doing its thing, thankfully. Because it plays a song and it's like doo, 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 and like while it shuffles around the floor, and I got it to hopefully encourage her to crawl, but it didn't work, and she crawls anyway, so we're good. I thankfully don't have to charge that thing up for her to play with. She has so many other toys that one's the bottom of the food chain to get power.
Okay, nice.
So anyway, okay, what are your 3 things that gross you out?
Used Band-Aids.
Ew, those are gross.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna ship you a bunch of used
No, don't you dare.
Anytime Anders
Kindy.
Where he likes to use them all the time.
Oh my gosh. It is so
does it
I have to fight.
Depend on the dirtiness of it, or
no? It's the stickiness of it, because I also don't like stickers. I think they fall in the same category. Used Band-Aids and used stickers. That stickiness that has all the stuff on it.
Yeah.
Oh, now I'm thinking about Band-Aids and stickers. Oh my gosh. I have the hardest time picking those up. I have to like get a bag around my hand to pick up stuff like that. And the whole time I'm like, it's sticking to me. Oh, it's so awful.
Try not to puke while you're cleaning up.
Exactly.
Why don't you just get like your boys to pick it up and throw it away so you don't have to?
Oh, they know the rule that they are never allowed to leave a Band-Aid. out.
Oh, that's good.
If it is not on their body, it has to be in a garbage.
Oh, and you were working at a hospital cleaning. How often did you come across used Band-Aids that you had to clean up?
Oh my gosh. Not very often because I was cleaning the offices, but a couple times I did, and it sicked me out. One surprised me. It surprised.
Oh, no.
And I was just like, oh no.
Attack.
And I had to like go in the other room.
Try not to vomit.
And breathe in
down.
deep and prepare myself mentally before I went back in there and got it. So many germs are on those sticky surfaces. Not just the bandage part. It's the actual sticky surfaces. They hold on to germs. And I think that's it. It's the germiness of the stickiness. Because that's why stickers get at me. I'm like, there's all that bleh on there. And it's stuck there.
The germs. Yeah.
Germs.
It can't go anywhere but there.
Okay. So that's my first one.
Band-Aids and stickers.
And that's definitely my number one. It's the worst one. Okay.
I think this was a bad idea. I'm like, I feel sick. Just talking about mine and now listening to yours.
Oh, this one won't make you feel any better. Warm puke.
Great. Ew. Gross.
So
cold puke is fine, but it's warm puke that just gets you over the
warm
edge.
Puke because of the warmth. It makes me puke. I've had to clean up lots of puke that wasn't my own, not from my kids, from other people's kids, and from dogs. And it makes me gag. I am fighting puking the entire time. And the reason why I make myself stop is because I'm like, yeah, and then I'd have to clean up more puke. So don't you dare puke. That's the only thing that keeps me from puking is knowing that I then have to clean up more puke. But man, it's the worst.
This never-ending puke fest. Clean up and puke and clean up and puke and clean up and puke. That would be awful.
Yeah,
You'd have to call somebody and be like, you gotta, I can't. Every time I try, it just comes back up.
oh.
Hope nobody's eating right now.
Okay, last one. Some textures just get to me and make me want to gag. And the one that gets me the most out of all those grossy textures is soggy cereal. Can't do it.
Serious?
Yeah. I love cereal. I eat it every morning for breakfast. But it has to be, I have to get cereal, then milk, then I inhale it. Because
before it has a chance.
To get soggy. Yep. Because when it gets soggy and the milk's like tepid, can't handle it. It's the texture, just it makes me. And that's what like all the next like 8 are all like foods that I can't handle in large quantities because the texture just makes me gag.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Oh, man.
So now you guys all know. Send me used Band-Aids and touch Kindy's elbows. And you'll sick us out.
Don't do that. Yeah. Too many people already know about my elbow issue. And Anders, he's rubbed up against it a couple times. And I'm like, ugh! And he's like, Mom, why did you just do that? He thinks it's the funniest thing. And I think
so he does it on purpose.
I told him, no, thankfully he doesn't. But there was one time where I'm like, I don't like my elbows being touched. It grosses me out. But he's going to hit an age where he's going to think it's the funniest thing. And I hope Matt forgets by that point and like nobody remembers, no one tells him, and he never bumps me so that I can live in harmony with my family and not be tormented by having my elbows touched. That's never gonna happen. He's gonna somehow come across it, and boys love to tease their mothers, so I'm screwed. Ugh.
Oh, well, my boys know not to like leave band-aids around, so maybe he'll be considerate and not do it.
I don't know. Because I'm hopeful, but not at this, because it's so weird. Like, it's so weird. And I understand that it is a weird thing that grosses me out. So I don't know. It's like this dynamic of it grosses me out, but I see how much joy it brings to other people. But then I'm like, but is it just the attention? But no, because when Anders accidentally rubbed, anyway, it's weird. I just hope he never finds out, because I would have to get like really mad at him for him to never do it. And I don't know if I could bring myself to do that to him, because he's such a tender heart. So I'm gonna be screwed. I'm just screwed. Anyway, how about we talk about what our next episode's gonna be on?
Okay.
So our next episode.
You go ahead.
Okay, so our next episode is going to be 10 things I hate about you. Yay!
Yay! I remember watching the show all the time. So
Right?
it'll be fun to watch it again now that I'm a grown-up.
Yeah, and see what it's like with our new perspectives on life.
All right, we would love to hear from you. We've heard from several of our listeners so far, and it's great. We love it. We love your comments. We love your input. If you want to hear us talk about a certain movie or talk about an article or something like we did today, let us know. We will. We'll make it part of our show. You can get in contact with us on our website, through Facebook, or our email. They're all listed in the show notes.
And if you do love us, help us grow by telling others about us. Share something that you may have learned with them. Hopefully we've given you some sort of education in this episode, maybe not just ways to torment us, but also of a fun word that you can use. And we would like to thank Red Productions for the music, and Jonica for the logo. We still love it. It's super awesome and cute. And we'd like to thank our listeners. We just love that we have people that listen to us, and it's just so nice. And it's nice that we get to hear back from our listeners, and we appreciate you. So something Anders told me today, he goes, "Mom, I don't love you right now because you keep making stupid dinners." That was after he had asked what was for dinner, and I told him I didn't want to tell him because he'd hate it no matter what it was. I was like, it's chicken something, but you're not going to like it, and you're going to have to eat it. So he told me that.
Oh, kids are the best.
Yeah.